Alright, so if you saw the other video of me showing the place out in Manhattan where I'd done all the steel work out there, in the background you saw a bunch of really cool cars. Well, one of the cars in there was a GT40 Ford, and I need the other axle.
What the hell is that?
Okay, so if you saw the other video, the one about what I was doing for the last 6 months, I was at a place in Manhattan called CCC. It's a car club. And in the background of the video, you probably would have seen the GT40 Ford sitting in there. And they sent me out one of the stub axles. This is a good one. Now they're breaking these. Obviously a bad one. So they want me to make new axles for them, which is nothing unusual because I make axles. So what's wrong with these is they're so undercut here, which is actually a safety feature, but they're actually too weak. So I am making them another set, same dimensions and everything, but it's more like this where there's no undercut, and that should hopefully stop them breaking these things. So this video is I'm going to show you how I make a set of custom axles out of billet. So this axle, if you look at the two in comparison, it's considerably smaller than the axles that go into my independent rear ends. This is taken supposedly in the realm of about 500 horsepower. This one of mine takes about 1600 horsepower. So this is the axle, and it weighs probably around the range of about 7 or 8 pounds. I'm not sure what they're made out of, but we got to do better. This is a 40-pound slug of 300M, which is a modified chrome moly. That's what I make my axles out of. Oh my god. Need to learn a way to make this shit lighter. Alright, one turn down. I gotta start turning this one down. Okay, so here's a little tip. So if you're turning some steel and your chips are breaking like this, you're doing fine. Your RPM and everything's about right. They start doing this and they're getting longer, you're going too slow. So kick your speed up. The faster you go, the quicker the chips will break. So there's kind of an indicator right there. Alright, so this is the slug that I turned down, and we're going to leave this as it is, and this is now down to about 70 thousandths more than what we need. And I did it this way just to remove as much mass from this as I can. It'll make sense later. So now I've got it mounted in the vertical chuck of my CNC machine. I've got a Haas tool mill, that's all I have. And I run the shit out of this machine. So now we'll touch off, find the center. Alright, so how these edge finders work are pretty simple. They're a round piece, and there's a spring-loaded piece in the center here that just wobbles. And the way you do is you run them, and then as you come into the part, if you got it way off like that, they'll just gradually get better and better and better. And then as you actually touch the edge of the part, they will kick over to the side. And somewhere about right there. And that's how you find the edge of a part. And they're accurate to about 1/2 thousandths of an inch. Damn! I don't think I tightened it that much. Oh, Jesus. Alright, last pass. Alright, so there's the first stage of making 2 one-off axles. Alright, there we go. So there's the first stage done. So now, we'll do that half. That looks a lot more fun. Alright, so when I cut this, I left it 100 thousandths long. So now I'm just going to take this excess piece here off on the lathe. Alright, there's the factory one. And there's mine. What I did here is I took the broken axle, bored it so I got a referenceable center, faced it off, and then turned the outside edge down so that it fits inside the other axle. And I can bolt it there like that. And all I got to do now is weld a plate on here, and then with the 3 mounting holes, then I've got the piece that'll go on the machine to spline it. Alright, so I just ran down. I got a piece of 6-inch, yeah, 3/4. Didn't need this much, but it's what was on the shelf. Alright, so this is how I, instead of going through all the hassle of counting all the rotor rotations on this, it's easier just to make a fixture with the number of splines you want, and then you can just lock it in like a pin. Alright, so now we weld the two together. So that's why I put this hole in. That's why I put this hole in earlier, because it's concentric to that. So now, by touching off, finding the center of that, I can make this concentric to that. Alright, so this is a dividing head, and this is a homemade tailstock. And to cut the splines, I make this plate which has the same number of holes in it as the spline, the adapter, and then the axle. And you can buy a setup like this, but it'll cost you, $1,500 or so. So this one here, making it myself, I think I have maybe $400 or $500 in it. So you can see the difference here between the GT40 axle and the one out of my independent rear end. So mine are considerably bigger. There's bigger spline count, bigger bearings, everything in them. Mine take a universal joint instead of a CV joint. And mine, well, they take thousands of pounds of torque, where these are not taking a quarter of what I can throw out mine. Okay, so unless you're a genius mathematician, you're going to need some kind of a CAD program to be able to figure out your spline. So this circle here represents the outside diameter of the spline. This one represents the root diameter of the spline. And when I drew it, it's just a matter of running an array around the center of this. So I cut the first spline, and these are 90-degree splines, 45 each side. So I set this one here where it's 90 degrees to the machine, and then all I need is the distance down from the top of the part. So from the top of the part to the base there, that gives me my depth of the tool. So we're 190 thousandths and 8/10ths down from the top of the part. And what we're going to need to know is the dimension now from that quadrant to that point, which I think is going to be the same. Yep. So then that 190 thousandths and 8/10ths plus half the diameter of the tool, and there's your spline. You unlock it, rotate it one turn, lock her in, lock it, hit the start button again. And just keep repeating that until you get all the splines. Okay, so there we go. That's the two made out of 300M, and no undercut, which I think is 99% of the problem. And hopefully that stops them breaking them.